Hello grade 9, we're going today to start with chapter 3 in your book, Transport and Distribution of Nutrients and Oxygen Gas to Organs. So this is the title of the chapter, the transport and the distribution of nutrients and oxygen gas. So the nutrients that we get from the digestive system and the oxygen gas that we get from the respiratory system, you know, that is needed by all the organs of the body. There is a system that helps to transport the nutrients and the oxygen gas and distribute them to all the organs of the body. In this video, we're going to explain only activity 1, which is page 56-57 in your biology book. So the new system that is responsible for the distribute and the transportation of oxygen and nutrients is called the circulatory system. This is our new system for today. What is the circulatory system? The circulatory system is responsible for transporting materials throughout the entire body. So this is its job. It transports the material. What are these materials? It transports nutrients, water, and oxygen to your billions of body cells and carries away waste such as carbon dioxide that the body cells produce. So it transports the nutrients and the water that they are needed, and it carries away wastes such as carbon dioxide so that the body can get rid of it. It is an amazing highway that travels through your entire body, connected all your body cells. So as you see, this is a picture of the whole circulatory system. It transports, and it is a highway. As you see, we have two kinds of highway, one blue and one red. It is connected to all the body cells. The blue one is for the wastes, and the red one is for the oxygen and the nutrients. Now, the parts of the circulatory system, or the components of the circulatory system. The circulatory system is composed of three main things: heart, blood, and blood vessels. Today we're going only to talk about heart in details. This is the heart, and this is the blood. Blood vessels are three kinds: arteries, veins, and capillaries. This is a vein, this is an artery, and here, as you see, the thin ones are the capillaries. We are going to talk more about them later, but today we are going to talk about the heart. Which gases are transported to and from the body cells by the blood flowing in the circulatory system? Two kinds of gases are transported. Oxygen gas that is needed for respiration and is transported to all the body cells. So the circulatory system transports the oxygen gas and carries the carbon dioxide from the cells, which is a waste product, and it helps the body to get rid of it. You know that the carbon dioxide is released from the lungs. So this blood has to get the oxygen from the lungs to the cells and get the carbon dioxide from the cells to the lungs. This is the function of the circulatory system: getting oxygen from lungs to cells and getting carbon dioxide from cells to lungs. This is the network of the circulatory system. The circulatory system carries two types of blood: the oxygen-rich blood, or called the oxygenated blood. This is the oxygenated blood, and the oxygen-poor blood, or called the deoxygenated blood. So these two types of blood are carried by the circulatory system. The blood traveling to the body cells is the oxygenated. It travels to the body cells, and the blood traveling away from the body cells is the deoxygenated. The oxygenated has high oxygen and low carbon dioxide, and the deoxygenated have low oxygen and high carbon dioxide. For that, this is called oxygen-rich, and this is called oxygen-poor. As we took before in the respiratory system, the oxygen-rich blood has a bright red color because when the hemoglobin reacts with the oxygen, and the oxygen-poor blood, or the deoxygenated, has dark red color, similar to the blue, which carries the wastes. The arrangement of the circulatory system means that these two types of blood do not mix. So the two types of blood, oxygenated with deoxygenated, do not mix in the circulatory system. As we said, we have two highways, one for the oxygenated and one for the deoxygenated blood. Let's now move to the main component of the circulatory system, which is the heart. As you see, the heart is in the center, in the middle between the two lungs. It is not true that it is on the left side. It is in the middle, between the two lungs, but it is inclined a little bit to the left. The heart is the organ at the center of the circulatory system. It pumps blood around the body. So this is the main organ of the circulatory system, and it pumps blood. You have to know that it is a muscular organ. It is a muscle. It pumps blood by contraction and relaxation to pump blood to all the body organs. It's the motor of the circulatory system. The heart is divided into two sections so that the two types of blood, oxygen rich or oxygen poor, are kept apart. So the heart is divided into two sides. One, the right side of the heart, which is for the oxygen poor blood, or the deoxygenated blood, is on the right side. And the left side is for the oxygen rich blood or the oxygenated blood. For that, they do not mix together. They are separated. So there should be here a separation between them, not to mix together. Let us go down deep inside the heart. What is the heart? As we said, it is a muscle. The muscle of the heart is called the myocardium. So the heart is made up of a myocardium, which is the muscle of the heart, as you see here. It's strong and thick. Like any other muscle in the body, it has to contract and relax to do its work. It is composed of spontaneously contracting cardiac muscle fibers, so they keep contracting and relaxing. When they stop contracting and relaxing, this means that the body is dead. So it keeps contracting and relaxing, and it can conduct electricity like nerves. If you have seen on TV, for example, sometimes when the person is about to die, they give him an electric shock so that the heart will move or will pump a gun, because the muscle of the heart can conduct electricity. As any other muscle of the body, it needs oxygen, and this oxygen is delivered by the blood. These are the blood vessels called coronary vessels that get the oxygen to the muscle of the heart, to the myocardium. These are called coronary vessels. If these vessels are blocked, the heart will not pump anymore, because the muscle of the heart will not have energy to contract and relax. So this is the main blood vessel. It supplies the muscle of the heart by the coronary artery. Let us talk more about the parts of the heart. The heart is made up of 4 chambers. As you see, 4 chambers means 4 rooms. The 2 atria, they are the upper rooms or the upper chambers, and the 2 ventricles, that are the lower chambers. We have left atrium and right atrium, and we have left ventricle and right ventricle. So every kind of chamber, we have right and left. Left atrium, right atrium, left ventricle, right ventricle. These 2 chambers are separated by a septum. Here is a septum that separates the 2 types of blood so that they do not mix. Some children are born with a hole in the septum. You hear a hole in the heart, a hole in the septum, which is dangerous. We shouldn't have a hole here, because the 2 types of blood should not mix. And the atria collect the blood that enters into the heart. The ventricles pump the blood out of the heart. So here is the entrance. The blood enters to the atrium and leaves from the ventricle. Entrance here to the atrium, goes to the ventricles and leave. Here is a picture of the heart found in page 56 in your book. You have to memorize the parts of the heart. In order to memorize it, we will move in 2 sides, the right side alone and the left side alone. The right side, which carries the deoxygenated blood, has blood vessels coming from the cells. They are called the superior vena cava from the upper cells or organs, and the inferior vena cava from the lower organs. They are connected to the right auricle or atrium. Auricle here, the same as atrium. You can write atrium or auricle, because auricle is in the inside. And down the right ventricle. Between the right auricle and the right ventricle, we have a door. This door is called a valve. It is called the tricuspid valve. Also on the left, between the left auricle and the left ventricle, we have a door, but this door is called bicuspid valve. To memorize it, link tricuspid by the right. So right, bicuspid in the left. So here we have the tricuspid valve. Here we have the bicuspid valve. The right ventricle, because it needs to carry the deoxygenated blood into the lungs, it is connected by the pulmonary artery. Everything related to lungs is called pulmonary. So this is pulmonary artery. This is in the right side. In the left side, also we have pulmonary veins, because they are getting the blood from the lungs. It's rich in oxygen. To the left auricle or the left ventricle, down to the left ventricle, and here we have a door called bicuspid valve. It sends this oxygenated blood in the aorta, which is the biggest blood vessel in the body. It carries the oxygenated blood to all the organs. Also, between the ventricle and the arteries, we have doors. These doors are called sigmoid valve. So again, in the right side, you have to memorize, we have two blood vessels getting the blood into the heart, يعني أكيد to the auricle or to the atrium. Superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, connected to the right atrium. Down we have the right ventricle. We have a valve called tricuspid valve, and connected to the ventricle is the pulmonary artery. In the right side or in the left side, we have the pulmonary veins getting the blood from the lungs to the left atrium, then to the left ventricle here. This is a bicuspid valve, and this is the aorta. Okay, and also we have the sigmoid valves. This diagram is found in page 56. You can memorize it. Here is a show that shows you how the blood moves inside the heart. Let's start with the right side, which carries the deoxygenated blood, or the blood that is poor in oxygen. The deoxygenated blood comes from the organs. I symbolizes it by a dark blue color. Let us see what happens. It is coming from the organs. It enters in the vena cava to the right atrium, right ventricle, and up by the pulmonary artery, which goes to the lungs to get rid of it. Now in the left side, we have the oxygenated blood that is coming from the lungs. It enters by the pulmonary veins because it's coming from the lungs to the left atrium, left ventricle, and up in the aorta. Okay, this happens at the same time, and as you see, we have a door. The blood crosses these doors in order to pass from atrium to ventricle and to the artery. Then this blood will go to the organs. The oxygenated blood go to the organs. What are these doors? These doors are called valves. The valves in the heart, what is their function? Let the blood move in one direction and to prevent the backflow of blood in the heart. These are the doors. This valve is open and this valve is closed. It opens to let the blood move in one direction only, from up to down or from down to up in the artery. And the closed valve prevent the blood from going backward, because when these contract, if these are not closed, the blood may move up, which is dangerous. So when we have a problem in the valve, it's also dangerous. These valves has two functions: prevent the backflow of the blood and let the blood move in one direction only. Okay, the final part of this activity is the cardiac cycle or the heartbeat. So when your heart beats, it makes a cardiac cycle. The beat will last for 0.8 seconds, which is the sum of all the stages of the cardiac cycle. What happens? First, we're going to start with the general diastole. Because it's a cycle, it's okay if we start from any place. The general diastole takes 0.4 seconds. Diastole means relaxation. So in this stage, the heart is relaxing and the blood fills the auricles, slowly go to the ventricles. So the blood is entering into the heart in the general diastole. Okay, and the valves will be opened here. The bicuspid and the tricuspid valves will be open, and the sigmoid valves will be closed. So this is called the general diastole. It takes 0.4 seconds. Then after the general diastole, when the blood becomes in the atria or in the auricles, it is called auricular systole. Systole means contraction. Now, from its name, auricular systole, يعني the auricles will contract. The auricles contract and push the blood into the ventricles. This happens quickly, 0.1 seconds. Finally, the ventricular systole. First, at the beginning of the ventricular systole, the blood will be in the ventricles and all the valves will be closed. Then, at the end of the ventricular systole, the ventricles will contract, كمان from its name, ventricular systole. يعني the ventricles contract and push the blood away from the heart to the arteries, يعني to the aorta and the pulmonary artery. Then again, the general diastole. This is the cardiac cycle. Every cardiac cycle has one heart beat. So this is the explanation of this activity of chapter 3, activity 1. The cardiac cycle and the stages of the cardiac cycle are very important. After that, I will send you a homework which contains 2 exercises about the heart. Thank you for watching.